Hello, beautiful people. This is my podcast number 2. I have some notes next to me because we are learning, and I wanted to start off with today's energy and how I would like to open up. And I will be sharing my healing journey and the things that have helped me get through these transformational periods. I will be sharing those with you. For today, I wanted to go deeper, dive deeper, and talk about some of the breaking points that have led me to this situation, which is a beautiful period of transformation. And let's talk about my marriage and who I was back then. My mindset for this marriage. I've mentioned in my previous video, I've been married for 7 years. As a girl growing up with fairy tales, I've always wanted that fairy tale family, and we'll get into how I've grown up myself and very loner wise, let's say. I grew up with my grandma. I did have my mom in the picture. It's just that I've always wanted to build my own family, and when I met my ex-husband, I was very sure that this is the one for me, and this is where the resistance comes in, because no one's marriage is easy. So I just kept telling myself, this is part of how it is, and also let's talk about generational traumas, which we'll discuss in later videos, how you take on the behaviors, how learn behaviors from your ancestors, even subconscious behaviors. And I was holding on so hard, and it was clearly not working. What was I holding on to? The idea. I was holding on to the idea of a happy marriage. I was holding on to the idea of love. What I realize now is, and this is very hard for me to say, it was an addiction. It's hard to say that out loud because I didn't know how to love back then. I don't want to speak for him. I think we both have a lot of growing to go. So let's pause here for a second. Let's go back to the early cracks. So my grandma passed away a few years ago, and she was a major angel in my life. She had so much influence in my life, in the way that I love books. She was a literature teacher. The way that I love to read, the kindness that she taught me, her love for nature passed on to me. And I will do another short video about my plant Nelly, and how I have my grandma living on with me in nature form. So the breaking point happened when my grandma passed away a few years, and I had a breaking point where I had to go away for 5 days. I was not eating, I was not sleeping, my body was in pain. I thought that this was happening because of losing my grandma. At the same time, I was not getting that support that I needed in my marriage. Maybe I didn't know how to ask for it, or maybe it was just not given. Again, I don't want to speak for other people. And why didn't I leave back then? I was scared. I was not sure. I was still fighting for the marriage, for the institution, I didn't want to give up. I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to be a failure. What I realize now is that's nothing is more important than being true to yourself. So let's move on a few years later, after that initial breaking point where I had to pick myself up and put myself together again as a puzzle. And this is an ongoing theme in my life story, you know, breaking down, putting myself up together again. I think the main breaking point came when I met up with a friend of mine. I had a conversation, and he basically just looked at me and he told me that I look like a broken woman. And at that point, I realized all the weight that I've been carrying on my neck, my back, everything was like killing because of all the weight that I've been carrying. And this is what led to me leaving the marriage. And the exit strategy was a very stressful and difficult period. Anybody going through a difficult marriage, I really suggest you get professional support. That really helps, and it keeps you feeling, gives you that certain feeling of safety and support when it's needed. Because I just was thinking about it for a week. I was very scared. I was anxious. I didn't know how to leave. I was sure that I will not speak to him about it. So I just had some jewelry and my passport in the safe and some change clothes. So I just prepared that and I took that in the morning and I left. I went to a ranch we have here, which is totally closed off. I felt safe there, somewhere where nobody could get to me. I really needed that at the moment. And then I just let him know. And this is where my breaking point happened. And this also relates to what I want to do with my own retreats, where basically I want to go through this journey together with other people. And that's where I got the idea from that retreat that I went to. I did a 2-hour meditation. And that kind of started taking away some of the broken pieces, or at least me looking in. Let's just summarize this. And honestly, one question that I would like to tell, or maybe a few lines I would like to tell my old self is, you got this, and trust the process. And most importantly is that all that I need, I already have within me. Yeah.